I believe you originally played with East Hawthorn, is that right?
That's correct. I started playing East Hawthorn about 71. Yeah.
71. Now, were you in the team that got rubbed out of the comp?
I was part of the East Hawthorn club, yes.
Yes, because there was a rather mysterious incident, wasn't there, involving spectators,
umpires.
The manhandling of an umpire after the match.
Yes, I remember that day, but that's where I started my football career, and that's where I learned how to play footy.
And learned how to protect yourself?
Exactly right, yeah.
From aggro umpires.
Aggro umpires, exactly right.
Were you a big muscular chap in those days, Dippy, or was this just a late development?
It was a late development. Actually, I used to be a little skinny guy, something like you, I think, Ian.
Thanks. Good fun.
And I went over to Italy just before the 78 season, and I had spaghetti for breakfast, spaghetti for lunch, and spaghetti for tea, and I came back. I was so fat at one time at pre-season, I fell over and I couldn't get up. The boys had to roll me up, and I've kept it on since.
It's lucky you didn't get rolled into the centre at Glen Ferry, Robert, under the heavy roller.
Dipper, in your days at Kew, now, the Kew boys are a little bit hot-headed and they're predominantly Greek. How did the Italian and Greek influence survive together at Kew?
We used to have a few words against each other, and there's a few words said by the Greek boys to me, and vice versa.
You wouldn't have understood them, so that was okay.
Exactly right, but there's one thing we both know, we just follow each other's hands. So.
Robert, it took you a long time to sort of settle in at Hawthorn, didn't it, really? Let's be realistic.
Right, let's be realistic.
Now,
it did, yes, my word.
Yeah, now why was that?
Because I believe Hawthorn at that stage was a very, very good side, and really my skills weren't that good, and they wanted to play me on a sort of half-back flank where in my junior football I was playing sort of full forward, centre-half forward and wing and that, and it took me a while to understand what football's all about.
Yeah. Was it something to do with your physique too, perhaps? You know, not tall, not short?
Yeah, well, yeah, I suppose when I first came down I was about 11 stone or so, and now I'm sort of playing about 14.5 stone, and when you go against guys like Ian Bremen and Scotty and all those sort of players, they tend to throw you over the fence.
Actually, while on the subject of your weight, Dipper, how long ago did you play Essendon up at the Gabba? How many years ago was that?
Oh, about 4 years ago, I think it was.
On the news the other night, they had highlights of that game, and you were puny.
I was puny.
What's happened in the last couple of years?
Well, I've got involved with a bit of bodybuilding and that sort of thing, and it's helped me during pre-season. And I take my weights very serious during pre-season, but during the season I don't sort of touch it.
Robert, how often do you train in the gym pre-season?
I train about 5 days a week in the gym, and we also do a lot of running and that sort of thing. And I believe a good pre-season sort of helps you up.
Yeah.
Helps you set for
now,
the season.
You do quite a lot of squats, obviously, to build your legs up.
Yeah, squats are one of my favourites.
Yeah, and also you've got to have the arms big for Kerford Road.
Yeah, the Kerford Road arms. They're down at the moment. Just before summer, I'll be nice and brown. The big arms will be going again.
Fantastic. Plenty of amino acids.
Heaps of amino acids.
That's to the listeners who don't know. That's kind of like a safe supplement. Diet supplement, isn't it, Robert? It's exactly not like steroids or anything like that.
No, nothing like steroids. It's just a sports supplement which helps you with muscle growth, and also it reduces body fat and gives you a pin of energy.
You were saying, Dipper, that you start off as a half-back flanker with Hawthorn. You get a BOG in the grand final on the half-back flank, didn't you?
Yes, in 78.
78. And it took you, after the BOG, did something happen? It took you a while to settle into things?
Yeah, I think something sort of came in. I didn't take my football, I was taking my football serious, but at that age I was chasing beer and music and that sort of thing, and so I got involved in that for about 3 or 4 years until Alan Jeans came to the club, and he's really sort of helped me out.
It is a funny thing, though, Dip. Every year, I think I've read an article where you say, this year I'm fitter than I've ever been before and I'm taking my football more seriously. After the 4th year in a row, it's sort of becoming a little bit, well, I don't know.
Well, every year the older I get, I've got to take my football more seriously, so I've got to get fitter, so, you know.
And the other thing is that I'm glad that you're still taking each week as it comes, because that's so important for a footballer.
I just live in fear, though, if you are doing so much weight work that you might go too far with it and get muscle bound. You know, we don't want to see you sort of go the way of... There's been 1 or 2 players that have spent too much time in the gym.
Now, as I said, I do a lot of weight work during pre-season, but once the season comes along, it's mainly on track work, and I just throw a few weights around it after training about 10 minutes, just to sort of tone up.
I always love the way you blokes talk about throwing the weights around. I find it quite difficult just to lift them.
Or even roll them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I noticed early in the year there was some footage on TV of the Hawthorn blokes training in that pokey little corner at Glenferrie where they did their training, and I think Gary Buckenara sort of had a few ideas of building up 22-inch arms. You think all these cheek curls.
Cheek curls. Oh, yeah, Bucky's known for his cheek curls.
Now, in 1981, Robert, you suffered a very severe injury. What was it?
It was a broken sternum.
What is that?
Well, that's the chest bone between your rib cages, and I broke that in 4 spots.
4 places?
4 places,
Well,
yeah.
that happened to Andre the Giant, and he was wrestling again 3 weeks after he was splashed 5 times, I think, by Big John Studd.
Yeah.
How come he recovered so quickly and it took you over 12 months?
Well, that's TV land, isn't it? Actually, I remember that. Yeah, John Studd did crash him, and I've always wondered why it only took him 3 weeks to get back, but certainly took me about a couple of years. I really was frightened after that to sort of tackle and get involved in football again, because it is a nasty injury.
Well, Debbie, of course, apart from your football going so on, of course, you're playing against Geelong today. We were hoping Gary Ablett might have made it in this morning, and, of course, you've come in to talk to us. Any chance you'd be picking up Gary Ablett today?
I hope not.
Right. So we might talk about that going a bit more on the final panel if you can stick around for that.
Thank you very
In the meantime, just one more question. Any chance that you may be penning a song about Greig Champion?
Well, actually, I've been sitting at home thinking about how can I replay this beautiful compliment that Greig's given me, and I want to sort of write a song about him, but I'm still up to Greig.
When you park with your lover and outside all is dark, or making love with another undercover from a ride in a park, be sure you apply right rules of make smart men brave and brave men fools. Refrain from action if in doubt, cause if you overstep the mark and serve yourself on the sharp free kick. Your man once who held society in his arm. He was a winner and a winger. He pushed women in the back with his charm.
Good morning. Welcome to the Coodabeen Champions Corner. Where are we? Yeah, that's right, the VFA Corner. Welcome, Tony.
Yeah, good morning, George, and we have to apologise. Supercoach can't be with us today. But
One loss and you just don't turn up.
yeah, you roosters to feather dusters.
How'd he be going on World of Sport like that? They'd just kick him off, wouldn't they?
Yeah, oh, that'd be it. Hey,
Every time you lose, don't go in.
have you got him lined up to do one of your hard-hitting interviews in the near future, George?
But he wants too much.
What, money?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course he does, George.
No, we don't pay that much at Channel 7.
Yeah, hey, what about a bit of drama out at Preston last week?
Yeah, a bit of drama out there. The umpires had a bit of trouble getting off the ground.
Yeah, I'll tell you something, they wouldn't want to manhandle Frank Vagone, or one of the VFA's best-kept secrets could have been out, mate. Talk about burnt on the carpet, burnt on the rug.
Actually, they said Frank was lucky to get out of it. It's just that they couldn't find him amongst the crowd.
They were trying, they tried. But, yeah, ugly scenes out there, and Port, it's over for more or less.
Peter Chisnall was very critical of the umpires at half-time. And,
I didn't see much of the game, George. Can you tell us about it?
Well, he was critical that he thought his players were doing the right thing, but they weren't getting a go.
Yeah.
And spoke fairly strongly about the umpires. I think it might result in a bit of a fine for him, though.
Yeah, I believe that there's going to be some sort of investigation into his comments. But there's another tight game too. And I tipped it last week. I said Williamstown would get beaten.
Yeah.
And I had this theory that why they get beaten, and it is the same thing when you have a big win the week before, you get beaten the week after.
Yeah. And I also picked Geelong West to beat Coodabeen.
You didn't do it. You didn't do it on Channel 7 either. But 16 goals, 3 to 13-16. So obviously Williamstown had enough of the ball, but they'll play Preston in 2 weeks' time in the final, and that'll be a good game also too.
Should be
Coburg lacking big man power.
Yeah. I've said that all along, that they've got a weakness, and it's certainly in their big men.
And they'll run into Frankston in a fortnight's time. Now, Paran, George, you're also... Hey, we're just having a look through the papers before we get on to Paran. Morty Alec, if anyone is interested in coaching them next year, require a senior coach. And you can telephone 03580 2975, and any donations will be accepted as well.
And while you're mentioning about coaching for next year, I don't know whether this is news, but my little brother has written me a letter here enclosing a large number of Camberwell Football Club propaganda, and I guess they need everything that's going. Apparently he's bumped into someone who's associated with the club and who holds the record for being the victim of more armed robberies in the ANZ Bank than any other employee, and so I suppose it's appropriate that he follows Camberwell, probably follows St Kilda in the VFL as well. And he's got the information that next year, 87 will be Camberwell's year. They've got some big names joining. Premature to say who right now, but to suffice it to say, Sammy Kekovich will be coaching. Thanks.
The big names. Now, we've had an anonymous letter about you, George. And
Hang on, I'm just catching up on my mail here at the moment.
Yeah.
And I'd like to thank the Victorian Football Association, Umpires Association, for inviting me along to a turn on the 5th of August. Thanks a lot, fellas. I just got that today. Sorry I can't make it. I'd like to apologise that I wasn't there to hear Barry Richardson talk.
Yeah, also, too, I've been sitting this thing, this clipping from a newspaper. I was Stone's lover at 13, girl. The girl, now 16, claimed in the newspaper she had a passionate 2.5-year relationship. Now, what's that, Georgie? Is that you?
Well, I don't know where they got the photo from, but
Is that a view?
I certainly can't claim that. I'd like to know what paper that came out of that.
Yes, well, somewhere in Adelaide. Does the name Amanda ring a bell with you, George?
No.
Because you have become a big television star, mate. Yeah. And that's a beautiful photo of George in the Raw. How'd they get that one? It's obviously one of your mates from somewhere. Like. Now, speaking of Coburg, Robert Dipper, yep, Birdie's in here. Now, you wanted to issue a bit of a challenge to Phil Cleary today about something.
Yes, Phil, you're not here, but I'd like to pass on a bit of a message. One of my workmates, Wayne Tullock, has been playing all year, and suddenly he gets dropped for the last game.
Well,
Gets dropped for the last game for the finals. All I got to ask is, why?
Yeah. And
I'll tell you something, that'd be the death hand, because Italians have that sort of way. I've read there's some sort of secret societies that exist, and when the threat's, it's over.
Tullock probably plays the half forward, so that's why he'd be out of the side, because he'd be vying for first position.
No, Cleary will be still naming himself in the middle,
yeah.
just to show there's a bit of life in the old dog yet. And, of course, next Friday night there's a testimonial dinner for the great Caulfield footballer, John Einsedal.
And during the week, we've been invited to a function.
Yeah, it's Liston Trophy night during the week, and we'll get on to who we think will win that. But Caulfield Football Club, John Einsedal's testimonial next week, and it's unfortunate because he finishes the year at 198 games, and hopefully he'll play the 2 next year and become a life member, as you're loath to do, George. But, yeah, it's Liston Trophy night during the week, and all VFA supporters, you're going to have to make the big selection tomorrow on air, George, so make it today here. Who'll win the Liston Trophy?
Well, I've given it a lot of thought.
Yep.
And I really can't come up with anyone who sort of had an outstanding year. I've seen Jeff Saru play and Kershaw and those guys. They all will poll well.
Yeah.
But I can't really see any. I read Howard Lee's article during the week, and the only players he didn't pick were the 2 interchange players from the game round 14. He's had to go at everyone else. Yeah. Billy Swan he's thrown in.
Yeah,
the whole lot.
Did the name Hutchinson from Frankston come up in discussions?
Yeah.
I reckon I might put the kiss of death on him, because the bloke I picked last year got 1 vote.
What about second division in the goal kicking area?
Yeah, well, last year I think Predo kicked 170 goals, but after the home and away games, I think he'd had something like 135, 140. I think he got about 7 votes.
Yep.
And Litchfield kicked 115 last year, and I think he got about 2 votes. So,
well, yeah. And a couple of years ago, Fred Cook had a big season, didn't get a vote.
Did not get a vote, George. But we've got a big game of football tomorrow, and a big brick back to Channel 10, because the game of the day, believe it or not, fellas, if you have a look at the fixture, is Box Hill versus Oakley.
The second division
Because
game.
none of the games in first division will have a bearing on the 4, and Box Hill Oakley, I just wonder whether Phil could get down there and read out the second division plays. But anyway, Frankston play Brunswick, and they should have a good win at home. Springvale play Preston?
No, it's Preston.
Preston to win that one. Port will beat Geelong West. Coburg. Hey, by the way, Brian Walsh has tipped Camberwell to win in the Sun today.
To beat Coburg.
Yeah,
I'll go along with
Brian. I'll go along with that. Sandringham play Williamstown in the game of the day. And I think Willie will win.
Yeah, Willie will win.
Because Sandy haven't got anything to play for now. And
Second
Box
division.
Hill and Oakley, the round of the game of the round. And I'm predicting a Box Hill victory,
I'm going
George.
for Box Hill as well.
Okay, copy.
Airport here again with a special message for all you smart casual type guys. Now I know that a lot of you guys are wondering where I get my great gear and body jewelry. Whenever I go to a game, I can always overhear people saying, "Take a look at that guy. Where does he get that stuff?" Well, from Airport Smart Casual Leisure Wear and Plastic Products, that's where. And while you're there, pick up your free National Football League. We insist on playing at a state t-shirt.
Thanks a lot, Lindsay Airport. Good to hear from you again there. It's 11:15 here on 3RRR. We are the Coodabeen Champions, and once again, it's competition time. It's greasy Parmigiana time. Now, John Canis, are the greasy Parmigianas available yet, or is it still the dozen bots?
It's still the dozen bots, Richo.
Oh, sorry, it's dozen bots time.
Beautifully chilled, you know, with the ice film on the outside of the bottle.
Courtesy of the Bayview Hotel. Now, the task you were set last week was to write a tourist brochure for Japanese tourists coming to Melbourne, explaining football, so they could read it on their in-flight glossy as they're about to touch down at Tullamarine. And we've had some excellent response, John.
Yes, I've got one here from JB Stewart. Whilst in Melbourne, why not go along to an Australian rules football match? Just pick a side that you fancy. You may like a particular colour combination, or an individual may grab your eye, like Hawthorn's Chris Langford with his cute build, or Carlton's Tom Elvin with his flowing locks, or St Kilda's Trevor Barker with his bleached hair, or the male model looks of Richmond's Michael Roberts. And they go into explaining a few expressions that you'll have to learn to understand as you turn up to a game. Have a captain cook your mug, which means pointing out to a player or umpire that something obvious has escaped his attention. Kick it for Christ's sake. An ecumenical plea to either a player or group of players that foot disposal is now required for the benefit of the team. Kick it for him, you white rabbit. A rueful aside usually expressed audibly to the effect that it is believed the umpire has assisted an opposition player to such an extent that the rest is a formality.
Yes, it was quite appropriate that the tourists in question are almost invariably treated as being Japanese, and
that was a competition.
It was required, was it?
Stipulation.
I see. Well, the Foot White Kappa and the Edelstons on the Australian Cultural Terrorist hit list and burn them to a cinder faction have sent in an entry which is absolutely beautiful in terms of calligraphy.
Oh, yes.
Content not so fantastic, but the calligraphy absolutely superb, which is very appropriate in a Japanese competition.
And A+ in grade 2.
Covey.
Yeah, I was caught. My eye was caught here by one from N. Wardley of Morwell. Good to see you getting the program down there, although we're probably not coming in all that clear because you have addressed the letter to 3RRR in Richmond. Nevertheless,
It got here.
N. Wardley did point out that some of the men you will see playing this sport are true characters. The Flying Doormat, Bruce Dool of Carlton, who has taken the art of toe crushing to its highest level. Paul Salmon, the fish. His tall frame dwarfs the Melbourne skyline on most evenings. If you're very careful taking your photos there, wouldn't you? John Platten, a fashion leader with his innovative and splattered hairstyles, and Kevin Sheedy, coach and folk hero, a man in the mould of Ned Kelly, has bushranged the VFL for the past 2 years.
Martin Quinn's managed to send in a Japanese postcard of Ayers Rock. It's got a photograph on the front cover with some Japanese writing underneath, and of course the letter detail with all the details of league football is in Japanese, and we've got a little sketching of an Aboriginal, which is Jim and Phil Cracker's father keeping stats on David Lee Jones.
David Lee Jones? David Lee Roth?
Yeah, it could be. Now, the Doug Hawkins wing will not be exempt from bombing Splinter Group. That's the subsidiary of the commenced nuclear testing at the Western Oval faction. I think they were also responsible for that blow-up, that plaster bulldog over the social club entrance as well.
Have they done it yet?
And in their in-flight brochure, they do mention that if you are watching the television and the honourable commentators on there, when Peter Landy says you could build a block of flats on the forward line, that doesn't mean you should reach for your checkbooks and ring the Grollos. Yeah, well, and one more from Peter. He's definitely not the Confucius of Australian rules, because Confucius would never have said one each of two.
And the Take That Mask Off, Bartlett, You're Scaring the Kids faction have sent in an entry bemoaning, in their words, the fact that premeditated violence has always been the most exciting aspect of our great Australian game. Sadly, the simple, shameless stand-and-deliver bashings of yesteryear
have evolved into the modern type of hit-and-run sniping, exemplified by various persons who I will not name. And they conclude their little guide to Japanese tourists. If during your visit you unfortunately attend only VFL games played in a spirit of fairness, then you can either A, attend any VFA game where old-fashioned clubbings are meted out relentlessly, or watch Channel 7's NEC Fantastic Footy Flashbacks, where you may relive the deeds of such past thugging luminaries as C. Dittrich and N. Baum.
Chris Beals is sent in for the Japanese tourists only. Aussie rules football is found nowhere else in the world and inherent with the harmless fun tag and exotic team colours, including exotic dances with one club. The game still has its detractors, but these are nearly all limp-wristed types. Aussie rules football is like any other contact sport. There's a bit of blood and a lot of fights, and you're quite safe on your side of the barrier. Sounds exciting, doesn't it? Not unlike that show on your national television where students get tortured for fun and prizes.
I'm still looking at the commenced nuclear testing entry here, and there's a bit further down. It just caught my eye because Dippy was in here this morning, and their brochure would have pointed out that some of the most distinguished ninja warriors, pointing out that the game is played between 12 teams of ninja warriors.
Actually, that'd be good marks, wouldn't they?
The ninjas
in front of the pack and jump back into the pack and take grabs all day.
But they'd be throwing those star knives and deflating the football. Now, they did point out that one of the distinguished ninja warriors is in fact a kamikaze ninja with a very long surname who plays for the Hawk Ninjas. And he was in here just a bit earlier. The Mobile Boys just went for the handwriting this week and did point out that one thing to point out if you're at the game with regard to the little boys with the yellow 4 and 20 shirts, the large objects hanging around their necks are not super-duper large cameras. They are pie containers. Whilst on the subject of cameras, you can use the flashlight on your cameras at the footy, unlike at the Phillip Island Penguin Parade.
And I particularly, one entrant from Brian McNamee, who corrects me for last year that he's not a doctor and he's not related to Paul McNamee, he sent in an extract from a real tourist guide for foreigners, which was a book called Gales in the Sun, a detailed account of Meath's historic trip to Australia, written by Peter McDermott and published in Ireland in 1968. And I think Peter McDermott had the game's rules explained to him by Bobby Davis in the mezzanine bar after half-time with a pretty torrid lunch, because he lets the Irish know that it's only a goal if it goes through the posts below a height where a jumping player could touch it. If it goes through higher than that, it's a behind, apparently. And another interesting rule he lets the Irish know about is, it is, quote, it is also permissible to charge an opponent from the front when going for a, quote, mark, end quote, brackets, catch. And this is known as a, quote, shirt front.
Oh, that's true.
This is permissible.
Now, Chris Byrne, who we've probably made into a superstar at his school, I think, out there in Essendon. Cause
he's here, the kid with the give Richard Geary a game.
Appetite. Yeah. The big appetite.
Give Geary a game. He's just 13 years of age, but he's been riding in all season. And I just wonder, from reading his entry, just what influence television is having on the younger people in our community, when I see that Chris has mentioned that the game is divided into two halves, each of two, and in brackets, all due respect to Peter Randy. So, obviously, the television is having some effect on some of the younger listeners and viewers for that matter too. The other one I noted here was from Ben O'Brien in North Carlton, and here are some hints on surviving footy. 1, if you are approached by a footy fan, pretend you don't speak English. 2, if this doesn't work, just say, I can't stand that Rhys Jones. 3, never say anything bad about Gary Ablett. And 4, if you go to the game, do not go onto the field and ask the players to take a photo of you holding the ball.
And John Canis has the winner?
Yes, the winner is a member of the No Matter What, Never Feel Sorry for Collingwood faction.
I think they win on the strength of that.
Modern Australian football, or kamikaze revisited. Welcome aboard. If the value of the Aussie dollar has not plummeted further against the yen, we should have sufficient August to reach our destination. Relax and let us introduce you to Australian rules football, or footy as it is affectionately known. Footy was originally developed in the southern state of Victoria, the area around the Portland smelter, and quickly spread to South Australia, a desert surrounding the Mitsubishi plant, and Western Australia, formerly in a state of excitement, now just in a state. And not forgetting Tasmania. Recent developments have seen the game transplanted in New South Wales, originally conceived as a laundry for excess Medicare funds, Sydney Swans now serve as a marketing arm of two lesser-known organisations, blonde hairdos for men and Hang 9 T-shirts. There are two major growth areas in football, the corporate sponsor and the National Union of Commentators, originally a tax haven. Footy, post-FPT, has become a haven of relaxation for jaded Aussie businessmen. For a few thousand a year, they can wine and dine while the rain falls in the outer. And while Jono and Macca dispute a free kick on the ground below, half of the BHP board can quietly and efficiently be shafted. But the game would be nothing without the commentator. Successive seasons have seen ever-increasing numbers, and the National Union of Commentators is now a major growth industry. End-of-season awards provoke much excitement amongst them and include first commentator to live in Toorak, Lou Richards, lucid and linguistic laurel, jointly held by Jack Dyer and Tommy Layer, fellow Mike Fitzpatrick If You Can award, Michael Moncrief, and oldest who still has blonde tips, John Newman. You, the Japanese visitor, would be well advised to investigate the possibilities of football. We urge you to ignore gridiron and baseball. After all, you have even more reason to shun the US now. Oh, you have more reason to shun the USA than us. On us, they dropped off only wheat and sugar, or they dropped mushrooms on you.
Ooh.
That's from Stuart Besant.
And that's a good win, Stuart. You look for John down at the Bayview and you'll fix him up with a dozen
Give us a
pots.
ring, a dozen coldies.
Okay, now if you want to win the dozen next week, a competition of a somewhat different bent. We've often looked for players with unusual features like high numbers and stuff like that. But what are we looking for this week, Simon?
Well, we're going back to the genuine footy competitions this week and going back to the team format, and it's a team of players who wore number 1. And if any of them you feel didn't really warrant the title, you might point out why. Are you going back to 1897 there, or are we taking it from a particular year? Oh, any time.
I think we leave this completely open so that entrants can have full play of the imagination. A team selected from the back line of players who wore number 1 on their back. Send it in here to the footy competition. Coodabeen Champions, care of 3RRR 25 Victoria Street, Fitzroy. George?
Richo, with that competition, didn't all the Collingwood captains have to wear number 1 several years ago?
You've given away a very nice little trick there in the
it's
comp.
no longer fashionable to wear number 1 Collingwood.
Well, Ray Shaw's not going to be in it. He's on the break the tradition.
Yeah, there'll be a few interesting ones bob up according to that tradition. But that's the comp for next week.
It's going to be a big mailbag this week, Richo, because I'll also have their checks in for the trivia quiz in the mail this week too.
That's right. Well, get them in quick.
Yes, that's music to Uncle's ears. And now here's more music to your ears. It's The Panel.
Well, it's time to review the day's games, and there is some little bit of interest in them with only 3 minutes left of the Coodabeen Champions this morning. I just will remind listeners once again, if you haven't got your applications in for the giant footy trivia quiz and ball at the South Melbourne Banquet Room, please mail off your applications. It's mail order only for tables of 10 at $25 a head, so get those into us because it will be sold out within the next couple of days, and I'd hate anyone to miss out. Now, the first game, the form side Geelong are playing Hawthorn. Dippy and Cove, I'll get you to run through that one for us.
Well, I was surprised by Geelong winning last week, and I can't see them putting 2 in a row like that. And, of course, Dippy's looking a lot bigger than I am over there. So, and I'm going to talk to him very shortly about how I should build myself up for tomorrow's game.
Okay, I'll do that. I think the Hawks will win today, obviously, but let's be serious here. This is a serious show. We're very determined to win today because if we can win today, we can't lose top position, and that's good to go into the finals.
Will we be right for finals tickets with you too, Dippy?
There's something, Jeff, I must say, and I was the subject of a very serious omen yesterday. I went to bring the garbage.
Premonition.
Yes, I went outside to bring the garbage can in, and there was a dead cat lying on my nature strip. Now, I thought there are 100,000 nature strips in Melbourne, and this black cat decides to cark it on my nature strip. I am worried about Geelong's chances today.
Tomorrow, Sydney play the Saints up there in Sydney, Simon.
Oh, yeah, good win for the Saints, this one coming up. And what a good end for the year it's going to be, too, that the lowest side, St Kilda, are in all sorts of trouble, knocking off the Swans on their home ground just as they're trying to G themselves up for the final. It's going to be a pleasure.